I just came back from Vancouver, where I went to hear Greta Thunberg speak. And before she spoke, there were they did a march, and there were about 10,000 people marching on the streets. And before she spoke, David Suzuki spoke, and he talked about 27 years ago. He spoke, and he was at the Stein Valley, 1991, and I was there as well. And he said at that time that we had 10 years to turn around the system, and that we had to act immediately. This was in 1991. At that time, I was living in a remote coastal village, and I was trying to establish like a free space to live where we didn't need insurance, or we didn't need ID, and we didn't need money, but then we were working on self-sufficiency. It didn't work. I was driven back to the city basically because not enough people showed up. But David Suzuki spoke again yesterday at the rally and said, now it's 20, actually his daughter spoke after him and said, we don't have 27 years to wait for change anymore. We have to act immediately. And when Greta spoke, like she was 16 years old, and she's saying, look at the world that she's looking towards, forward at her future. And what kind of a world is it? And also at that same rally, there was the case of the 15 youths who were taking the government to court. And I'm sitting there and I did my own little video of it. And I'm thinking, yeah, go to court. The courts aren't the answer. The courts aren't going to rule in your favor. The courts are the corporation. The law is the strength of the corporations. The law is the strength of the system. But I don't want to see lawlessness. I don't want to see violence in the streets. And that's what I see coming. Because we're not getting the changes we need. When we look at the system that we have, it's controlled by money. It's controlled by collectives. That's all of the systems, the educational, the judicial, the economics, and the religious. They're all controlled by collectives. And so we got a huge problem. Now, the challenge is to straighten this out. How can we do that? We need to come together on it. We are one race of mankind. We are one earth. There is not another earth. Another world is not possible. This is the one we have. This is the one we have to work with. And they say, we talk about money being the condition that we're living under. We say we can't afford the environment. We can't afford to fix the system. And we're stuck in this system of control. And there's almost nothing we can do. But wait a minute. We have power. We're not dead yet. We have intelligence. When I talk to the people, they know the system is that people and the world is crazy the way we're living. They know that. It's the way the corporations and the collectives are controlling the system that has us divided and pitted against one another. And that's what we have to change. I have a friend in Victoria, David Arthur Johnson, who hasn't used money for 16 years. Now, a lot of people say he's a hypocrite because even though he doesn't use money, he walks on the sidewalks that were created by money. And so they found a reason to dismiss him without giving him due consideration. But look at what he's doing. He's not using money. He's showing it is possible. Money is a creation of mind. It is not necessary. We don't need money, and we don't need time. Time is also is a creation of relativity. Greta is 16 years old. I am 76, but we are the same age. We are the age of the earth. We are the age of creation. And this is our time. This is our realization and our recognition of the way things are. When you go, like those 15 youths yesterday that were hopefully challenging the courts to bring them justice, they're not going to find justice in the courts. You have to get the judges out of the courtroom. Let them discuss openly the way things are, the way The corporations are deceiving us into believing that this separation by a monetary system is necessary, and we need to pay our way. We need to earn our living. This is all nonsense. The sun doesn't charge. The water flows without their control. The grass grows. They don't produce those apples on those trees. These are all nature and natural. We don't need that system, and that's what has to change. And so when Greta says change is coming, change is here now. We need to recognize the real system that we live in and under, and humanity does not have control over that. And the laws that we have in place, which are forcing us to continue this way, are what is doing us in. So we have to change. But we don't have to change anything. We just have to stop doing what we're doing. Stop going the wrong way. Stop being motivated by that which is thinking to be the control of us. I ran in the last federal election. You can see some of the footage on YouTube. And independent candidates, a man who says he was a scientist and an independent speaker, wasn't allowed to speak, in fact was arrested at an all candidates meeting. His voice was suppressed, as well were 40 other independents that tried to speak. And so the elections were controlled. You are being controlled. It is mind controlled, and it is pocket control. They got you controlled through your identification. They got you controlled through your vehicles. And so this video right now is about as long as Greta spoke yesterday. And so I'd like to try and answer what she said was the condition that is not tolerable and that the youth are rising up. Well, we want to get together with the youth. We don't want to see a war. We don't want the youth to go to war with the elders. I had no control. I could not do anything different. The system forced me to be the way I am. Conditions controlled my circumstances. My circumstances dictated my actions. And even though I tried to change it, I was not able under those conditions. And so here we are now, and I'm looking at it and I'm saying, okay, what's the one biggest single thing I can think of to offer out as a way to change what is to what ought to be? And I'm looking at vehicles. Let's take a look. Consideration for a moment. In Canada, there are approximately 20 million vehicles on the road. In the world, there are 1 billion. There are enough automobiles in the world to put everybody in one. But let's just take Canada. 20 million vehicles. The average cost of insurance for those vehicles is $1,800 per year. Plus, consider about $2,000 extra fees for etceteras like documentation fees and all the other hoopla that goes along with it. And about $2,000 per vehicle per year. Comes out to about $40 billion per year for insurance in Canada. Now, if there's no future, what good is that insurance? Shouldn't our future be the most important thing? Shouldn't we be putting that energy into the future? So what I'm suggesting is that we no longer have license plates on vehicles, that vehicles drive unlicensed, and that would change everything really quickly. Just try it. David Shebib, Victoria, and I want you to pay attention, look up my name, and also look up David Arthur Johnson, who hasn't used money for 16 years, and he's still surviving, and he looks pretty healthy. Thank you.